Hello and welcome to our Maker Monday series. This is one of my favorites. It's where we get to spotlight leaders in manufacturing in this October. It's the month of making, the manufacturing day. And to help us out with this series, we've invited our friends at Stanley Black & Decker to share their career experiences, insights on future of manufacturing jobs, and how we can collaborate to inspire and empower the next generation in entering the workforce, which is a fantastic opportunity. I'm Cynthia Jones. I'm the Director of Museum Experiences and Engagement at the Henry Ford. And today I'm speaking with Emily Sword, Director of Brand Marketing for the DeWalt brand within Stanley Black & Decker. Emily, welcome. Thank you for spending time with us. Can you tell us a little about yourself and the work you do with DeWalt?
Sure. Happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me. I'm very proud to represent both Stanley Black & Decker as an organization and DeWalt as a brand, and the thousands of people that we have working every day as makers, bringing this great product and this great brand to the world. A little bit about myself. I've been in marketing for my entire career. Started with advertising agencies and then moved over to the corporate side of the business because I really wanted to get in deep with an industry and really understand an end user and be really, an integral part of bringing a product to market that solves a problem for them. So Stanley Black & Decker and the DeWalt brand in particular have been a wonderful opportunity for me to do that. I also have had the opportunity to work in the outdoor power equipment industry, which is an important part of Stanley Black & Decker's business. And it was a wonderful experience for me to help bring to people opportunities to better the green space in their world. Often when we think about making and manufacturing and construction and trades, we're thinking about buildings and infrastructure. And it's important to understand that the green space around us is another important part of the world that we need to help make better and we need to help people enjoy. So the outdoor power equipment industry was a wonderful opportunity for me to do that with brands like Cub Cadet and Troy-Bilt. And now I get to do that with DeWalt and get to expand my horizons into the wonderful world of manufacturing and trades through the tool space.
Fantastic. I really love that kind of combination of thinking about the green world and the built world and how they are not separate. Certainly our founder, the Henry Ford here at the museum, he was a maker. He grew up on a farm and then moved into manufacturing. So he certainly kind of moved across those spaces as well. And really, I think is part of that heart of why we care about Maker Month and makers. So I'm curious, from your role and your perspective on making, why is something like Maker Month important?
That's a great question. And I have to tell you, when I think about makers and celebrating makers, I do really appreciate what Henry Ford and your organization does for celebrating that. My family and I are frequent visitors of the Henry Ford Museum and of Greenfield Village, which, speaking of bringing green space and buildings together, it's impossible to get through both in one day, but it is a wonderful opportunity to have that varied experience. And just want to take the moment to thank you guys for all that you do for people and families like my own who just love having that opportunity to go enjoy that space and celebrate makers. And I think what you do to inspire people about the opportunities and just the possibilities that you unlock when you dedicate yourself to making things that make the world better. And it's important that we take time to recognize that, and Makers Month is a great opportunity to do it. Obviously with DeWalt and the work that we do, we are all makers ourselves. So having a month that celebrates what we do is really important to recognize how important it is to the world at large. But our customers are makers. We spend all day, every day thinking about the makers of the world and how we can make their life better. And so, I think it's really important that we think about that, not just in the products that we bring to market, but in how we support that desire and that wish for that to be a lifelong career aspiration, and how we help make that entire industry stronger. So it's always a good opportunity to sort of take a step back and think about what we're doing beyond the products themselves that we bring to market.
I think that's beautiful. I love how you really kind of connected it into um, feeding the passion and finding a way to apply a passion and a skill set of making into careers, into your future, making our everyday better. I think it was very well said. I know that DeWalt is helping to make that possible for more and more people. I've heard that you're working with Scholarship America to provide up to $10,000 of funding awards to students and makers pursuing full-time study at two-year colleges and vocational technical schools. I have to say, another Henry Ford highlight, we just celebrated what would have been 106 years since the founding of the Henry Ford Trade Schools. So thinking about investing in education in trades has always been important to us. And I'm curious, can you tell us more about this scholarship? It sounds very exciting. What's the potential impact on manufacturing?
Sure. Yeah. It's no secret that there is a huge gap in, the available labor to serve the trade space. It affects every nook and cranny of the trade space is dealing with it. And it's something that we, as everyone who has a stake in the industry, we really have the responsibility to do what we can to try and close that gap, not just for the future of our businesses, but for when you think about the impact that it has on the consumer in general, it's very important that we help close this gap. So what DeWalt is doing is, as you mentioned, a scholarship program through Scholarship America. This is, I believe, the second year that we've done this, and we've offered it to high school graduates, high school seniors who are going into trade-focused programs. And we actually decided this year to try and support more people than we supported last year. So we doubled the number of scholarships that we are offering, from 20 scholarships to 40 scholarships. And so we'll be supporting those 40 individuals. The total, I think we have up to $200,000 in funds to award to those individuals, and really looking for people who, as I mentioned, they have the passion and the desire to make the trade space their future. They may need a little bit of help getting there. They may come from backgrounds that don't support them well in terms of giving them the resources and the opportunities to get there. So we want to help close that gap for them so they can help close the gap for us.
That's fantastic, and well done on doubling the numbers. That's huge. It also tells me that DeWalt felt that their first year of investment in this program, they were seeing value and really valued that, and so bringing more people in. Thank you for that work. That's huge. I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit more about the specifics of the work you do. I know that sometimes when we think about manufacturing, we don't always think about the range of careers that are available in manufacturing, the impacts that we can have in all sorts of different ways. And I know as brand marketing and kind of thinking about connecting consumers and industry, you probably do a lot of work around uncovering and designing and defining things, which all happens to be habits and actions of innovators that we've studied. And you probably also do a lot of collaboration, which is another fabulous thing that we've studied that historically people do around innovation. I'm going to ask you to talk through that. Give us some ideas of how that comes to life in your work.
Well, you hit on two of my favorite things to do when it comes to my job, my favorite parts of my job, which is research and insight and learning about the customer, just digging in deep to, to what matters to them, what they face in their daily life, the problems that they're facing, and what they're looking for in terms of solutions. Brand marketing it is impossible to disconnect brand marketing from research, because powerful brands are built really around a promise that we offer to to consumers. And we really have to understand how we can live up to that promise in a way that's meaningful to them. So we do a lot of research, focus groups and surveys and traditional research, but it's also a lot of what we call a day in the life of research. We literally follow makers around, we follow tradespeople around to see how they work, see how they move, see how they use their tools, to give us ideas of how we could make those tools better, and solve problems they may not even realize they have. So discovering is a huge piece of what we do. And in brand marketing, it's really exciting when you can match some of those opportunities that you discover with what your brand can uniquely deliver. So with DeWalt's promise of guaranteed tough, it really gives us an opportunity to see how making tough, reliable, trusted product available to these pros can really improve their work that they do. And then collaboration, you mentioned, it takes a lot of collaboration across a lot of groups to bring a product to market. I mentioned research already. We have a great research team at Stanley Black & Decker that helps us. But we also have product marketing, we have industrial design, we have the sales team, we have so many different groups that all have to work together with the same target in mind in order to get a product to market. So we're constantly collaborating across those groups to make sure that that promise that we've made to end users is really coming through in the product and in every touch point they have with our brand. Constant collaboration, but it's really what keeps me energized and keeps me challenged in the work that I do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the insights that you were able to give us into the work you do. And thank you seriously to DeWalt, to Stanley Black & Decker for the work you all are doing to invite, engage, empower that next generation of the workforce. I think there's exciting opportunities, and thank you for telling us about them. For all of those who were listening in today, let's thank Emily. And also we're looking forward to you tuning back in throughout the month, where we'll be talking to other leaders, innovators, inventors, and entrepreneurs who work in manufacturing this month and are makers and are doing the work out there. For those of you who can, we invite you to visit us in Dearborn, Michigan at the Henry Ford or online at thehenryford.org. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Cynthia, I would be remiss if I didn't say, for anyone who's listening to this that is interested in one of those scholarships, please go to scholarshipamerica.com and you can find the DeWalt scholarship there. So please apply. We would love to help you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Emily. And to our future makers out there, get on that and let's make a better world together. Have a wonderful day, everyone.